Hello and welcome to episode 31 of the Swim Run Show podcast. I'm Mike and we have met a young British swim runner, 20-year-old James Johnson, who will hopefully inspire the next generation of swim runners in the UK. I've been on about getting more young people involved for a while. So it's great to see someone loving the sport and being pretty good at it, pretty fast. So we met at Abu Dhabi Swim Run, Dhabi X Swim Run, of course, a couple of Sundays ago in wet conditions on the day. He was having a great battle with David Molinario, swim run veteran. He was winning the battle as well until he took an epic wrong turn, which we'll hear about. But a great learning experience, I'm sure, for James. And it's cool to see him doing well. He won the final 15 in Sweden. That's the final 15 kilometers of the OtillO World Champs course. A really cool little race there. So that's impressive. Let's crack on. James, all the way from the Lake District. Okay, we've got James Johnson here, a young gun from the Lake District. James,
Hi,
how you
Mike.
doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm doing well. Just had an off season last week and going to uni tomorrow.
Oh, right.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Yeah. I'm good. Getting ready for. I'm organising an event on Sunday. It's not a swim run, however, there is swimming and running involved. There's
Nice.
a 13k swim and the Dovey Aquathlon 13k swim and a 13k run. So
Okay, cool. Yeah, I've
getting
heard of
ready
that.
for that. But I met James in Abu Dhabi a couple of weekends ago, and he did very well, which we'll come to. But yeah, James. Is it 20 years old?
Yeah, 20 years old. That's right.
Yeah, brilliant. And you're British. So I've been talking, if you've been listening to the podcast, been trying to get more youngsters in. So it's great to see James and in Abu Dhabi and being a youngster doing well. And so, we just thought, let's get him on the pod. This guy needs some recognition. See if we could appeal to anyone else. So how did you get into it, swim run, James?
Yeah. So I should probably first say I've had with the first school I went to. It was an outdoor school, so they had adventure lessons as part of the
Okay.
curriculum. So I got into kind of adventure sports through the school, and they were really keen on fell running. So I took an interest
Right.
in fell running. Got into that more, and it was so my dad did when I was in about year 7. He did for charity 10k a day to raise money,
Right.
and I did a few 10ks with him. I was really enjoying that. And then when COVID hit, I did my own kind of challenge to raise money for NHS, where I did 5k every day for 6 months. So kind of similar to what my dad did.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoyed that. At the end of it, I got injured with a knee injury and couldn't run for a long period of time. It was several months. So I picked up swimming when pools were open during COVID time.
Mm-hmm.
And I found it really hard because I did a few swimming lessons, but hadn't really got much background in swimming at all. But it was just a good way to cross train. So I did that and then got into triathlons for a few years. Kept crashing on my bike and kind of struggled training for the bike over the winter and stuff. And also with the cost of getting a proper racing bike for races, it just didn't really seem like the best option for me. So then I got into aquathlons at the end of sixth form and during my first year of university. And I found them good, but I was just wondering, is there anything else that involves swimming and running? So I did a bit of research and saw those swim runs. So I saw that there was a race going on at the end of the summer after I'd been doing aquathlon races, the Great North Swim Run.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I'd give that a go, see how it is. And I ended up winning it actually. And I really enjoyed the race and thought it really suits my strengths because from having a fell running background, I
Yeah.
love the kind of trails with the swim runs, and they often had quite a lot of elevation, so that suited me really well. And also with the swims, obviously you're pulling using pull buoy and paddles, and I found because I wasn't strong at kicking in swimming,
Hmm.
all my power came from my arms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was a lot quicker pull buoy and paddles.
Okay.
So I thought this really suits me, and then got
Yeah.
into it from there. Really,
Brilliant. Okay, James, that wow, that's. I've got a lot of questions now already. So, thank you for that.
no problem.
So, first off, which school did you go to? Was it the Windermere one?
It was, yeah, Windermere
Yeah,
School.
I know
Yeah,
it. Yeah, cool, brilliant. Right, good to hear. Maybe there could be a swim run academy in there in that school.
it should
Um,
be definitely.
so
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
No, it's interesting you say about the fell running because historically, in the brief history of swim run in the UK, it definitely had a fell running background. You know, the Brecker events in the Lake District, I
yeah,
think Buttermere Swim Run, which is no longer around, was like a proper fell running kind of race with swimming.
yeah,
So yeah, it's definitely true. It's probably died away a little bit in the UK. It's kind of it's flattening out a little bit, if you like. There's flatter courses now, but there is definitely some hills still out there. Now, Great
yeah,
North Swim
definitely.
Run. That I think I did last year with which distance did you do?
So I actually did the short distance because
Okay,
the longer ones you needed to be in a
had to
pair
be in
for.
team. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the middle with Simon Griffiths, the founder of Outdoor Swimmer. That was a
Okay, cool.
good, good day. It was sunny. It was quite warm, wasn't it, that day?
Yeah. So this year was quite warm, but the year before, the first one I did, it was during the heat wave. It was boiling.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah,
was really hard.
yeah. Cool. So that was your start, and so what was after? What did you look at after the Great North Swim Run then?
So I looked at so I only did two races, swim run races last year. So I did the As Keen as Mustard Survivor swim run.
Okay,
Um,
and how did you get on with that?
so I finished second to Piers, and we were battling it out. So it's it's like so you've got a certain amount of time to do the lap, and
Yeah.
I got onto, and then it goes down the time each lap and gets harder and harder. I got to, I think Pierce and I both got to lap 7, and we both got eliminated that round. But he was in front of me, so he won by default there.
Lap 7
I think so, lap 7,
was it?
yeah.
How many
So
laps are there
it
in total?
so it just keeps going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Okay.
So it was 2 kilometers of running and 1 kilometer swimming per lap.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
quite a long way in the end. I think I did 7 kilometers of swimming and 17 kilometers of running.
Okay. So you're
So
pretty
for
close
me, that
behind.
that
Yeah,
was a big
pretty
day
close
out.
behind peers then.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well done. Well done. And then this year, that was just 2023, right? And then 2024, you
yeah,
kicked off. I noticed your name. I was looking at the results in Troia in Portugal. I did notice the GB flag near the top of the podium. A second place over there, was it?
yeah. Second place. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was an
Brilliant.
interesting race.
How was it? Yeah, it
yeah,
was. Is that the one that's quite sandy? Is it quite sandy, that one?
yeah, super sandy. Like
Yeah.
all of the running was pretty much on beach.
Oh, God.
Really tough. Yeah,
And
yeah.
how was it racing abroad for the first time in swim run?
Yeah, so I did a aquathlon last year abroad in Ibiza, the aquathlon world champs, the age group one.
Okay.
So that was good to have a little bit of experience racing abroad because it's different, with the travel. Get used to the time zone if there is one. But yeah, it was good. I knew I was going to struggle on the sand because I haven't really raced. I'm not that great at events over 2 hours, so I was a bit worried about that. But yeah, it was good. I made sure to be really on it with fueling for the race, taking on gels every 20 to 30 minutes. So I felt like I did finish strong, which was good.
That's good. Well done.
Yeah.
And so, just coming back to your aquathlon, there is what level were you at then in aquathlon?
So I was in the 16 to 19 age group,
Okay.
and I finished fifth and first Brit.
Okay. In Ibiza,
Yeah.
that was, yeah.
In Ibiza, yeah.
And that's, I'm guessing is that more competitive than the swim runs you've done so far? I'm guessing that's more competitive.
Yeah, I would say it. Yeah, it's hard to know because I think swim run suits me a lot more.
Okay.
But I would say yeah, it's pretty competitive, especially in the age groups I'm in. It's almost elite because the people who are just missing out on the elite stage will just go into the age group races.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So in the 16 to 19, the 20 to 24, and the 25 to 29, it's very tough.
Okay. And are you still competing in aquathlon?
Yeah, so I hope to do the English aquathlon champs, and it was going to be so I was going to my three big races were going to be the Portugal race, the
Mm-hmm.
English aquathlon champs, and Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, the race got cancelled last minute because of bad water quality.
Oh, where was that?
It was in. Sorry, it'll come to me. Begins with an N.
Nottingham.
Midlands way. It's
Nottingham.
Nottingham. Nottingham. Yeah,
Nottingham.
that's it.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay. Oh, that's a shame. It does
yeah,
happen though sometimes.
yeah. It does.
I mean, the rough conditions of the weekend. There was a popular triathlon on Anglesey, and it was rough conditions. They cancelled the swim. And what's good about swim runners, the race directors are quite dynamic with how they always have a plan B, a plan C. I've noticed over the years, and they can usually make the swims work somehow.
Yeah.
And the places I've done swim running, the water quality's never been a problem. I'm just trying to think now. No, I mean some places you can drink it straight out. So yeah, okay. So you got to carry. So that got cancelled. You got thinking of doing it next year.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I'm still really uncertain about my racing plans for summer because I'm looking at maybe doing a summer placement for engineering. But if I can,
Right.
I'll try and do it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Now moving on to winning an OtillO race in Sweden. Now that takes some doing. How was that? The final 15K. What did you think anyway of that course? By the way.
Uh, so the the swim exits were a shock to me. Scrambling up the rocks, there was
Yeah.
people say it's tough going, but you don't quite realize how hard it is. You've got to keep really low on the ground as you're climbing up the rocks, only until you're like 10 meters um, of scrambling past the water level that it's kind of okay to run again. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it was cool. And so the swims for the sprint final 15K, they're so short. So
Yeah.
it almost felt like I did 10 strokes and I had already finished the swim, which suited
Mm.
me well as more of a stronger runner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. And did you have quite a gap? How was it at the front?
Yeah. So have you heard about how they did it? They staggered it.
They staggered it, didn't they? Yeah. 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 Like
Yeah, they
a
did.
chase start. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
where did you?
I put in my predicted race time, and that put me third to the back in my
Right.
category in the open males solo. So yeah, I by the first so the first run was really long. It was 8 kilometers. It was tough going in the heat
Mm.
without a swim within that.
Mm.
But by the first swim, I'd actually got to the front,
Mm.
even being at the back. So I was quite happy with that. But I was mindful that I needed to really take out the first run hard because there was a lot of swimming to come
Yeah.
because that the bulk of the running is at the start. But yeah, I hung onto the lead, and I didn't know how the people were doing behind me, so I just it was like a time trial. I just went as hard as I could, because the the two people behind me, if they were within something like 60 seconds of me, they would have beaten me.
Yeah, right.
But by starting mostly pretty much to the back, it was quite good, because once you've overtaken someone, you know that overall you'll have beaten them in the results. Yeah.
Cool. That sounds interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure where I'd like to be actually. but,
Yeah. I do see why they did it, because there was a lot of trails through like dense woodland, and if we all started at the same time, it would have just been a nightmare through all of that. So.
Yeah, no, it's a great for those that don't know the final 15. It's called the final 15K because it's the last 15 kilometers of the World Championship course, which is the 70 kilometers plus. I'm sure most of you know. But yeah, so it's an A to B, point to point, isn't it? And as James said there, there's that big run at the start, and then there's lots of short swims, isn't it? 100 meters, couple of 100 meters.
Yeah, really broken up.
And then little islands that are like lumps of Trifan or Glidderfach, if you know North Wales mountains, lumps of rock to scramble over. So well done, James.
Super technical.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, good. And then it's about a 2K run at the finish, is it?
Yeah, like 2.5-ish.
So you
mostly flat until the final hill up to the finish. Yeah.
So you had a chance to stretch the legs.
Fully send it.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well done. And that brings us to Abu Dhabi a couple of Sundays ago, where it wasn't quite as sunny as in Sweden. pretty rainy day. And James and David were leading. How did it go at the front there? Because I know you were pretty close the first few kilometers.
Yeah. So there was the run with you, and then we swam over to that little sandbank and ran along there a bit. So by the time we had kind of looped back on ourselves, I had probably not a big lead, maybe like 15 seconds and 20 seconds. And I was like, okay, this is going to be a good race because he's right behind me. And then we went through the village, and I opened up the gap a little bit, maybe doubled the gap. And then we got onto one of the longer swims, and I was still extending my lead, so I was happy with that. But and by the time I think we got to the fuel station before the really long run, I had a few minutes gap.
Right.
But I actually I actually went wrong on that. So I passed the marker, and I thought, that looks like the swim entry point. I think it's there. Sorry, the swim exit point, and I think it's there. But I saw the kayakers and paddleboarders keep going, so I followed them. So I went slightly wrong there and lost all of my lead, unfortunately.
Right.
Before that run. But then once we got into the fellas, I was extending it again. So I was like, okay, I think I can still win this. And then obviously you know what happened, but
yeah. So James got to the top of it. It is a bit like a fell run. That it's like a 9K run, that section. There's the first half.
I was really excited
swim
about
heavy,
it.
isn't it? Yeah, and you would have totally won. Had you not turned right at the top there and gone left instead, but you missed the hours. It happens. I've done it myself, and I was a bit surprised you missed those ones. To be honest, but I guess you were in race mode, you know.
Yeah, I think I'm in race mode, and probably should have just revised the course better, really.
Because there was a spot later on where an arrow had been removed, and I understood then some people went the wrong way, and that's that part, which is understandable. Anyway, everyone made it back, and you did what? How far did you run in the end?
So I think it was meant to be 16.5. Is that right?
Yeah.
So I did just over 28.
Just over 28.
Got proper lost.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, but Well done. And you came back. You didn't, you came back and you overtook a few people on the way back, and got some extra training in for those legs. So well
Exactly.
done.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it's it. So in terms of swim run and getting lost and things, it's happened over the years. The worst one, the only one that was really consequential for me was Clanberis 2017, I think, and I was racing with a new guy, not raced with him. We went off really hard, and we got to out of the first swim, and we got to the point where we're meant to turn left up into the hill, and we got there so quick that there wasn't a marshal there in place. Apparently there was an arrow, but we didn't see it, and we just carried on along flat and then started another swim that we're meant to start much later. So we did quite a bit extra, and in the end came in fifth position because we had to cut back and do all this stuff. But it was a great lesson. It was a great, and
Yeah.
now you've had
Definitely.
that. It's
Yeah, I think it is a good lesson. Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Because
and it's
it just shows you've got to make sure you go go through the course, and just make sure you every kind of key turning, uh, you really know well.
yeah, and
Yeah,
and also because you're at the front of the pack there, and different to the final 15, I guess, because you've got so many people to follow in that first stage. That's kind of nice in a way,
it
as long
was
as they're not in.
definitely.
Yeah, and hunt down. Whereas if you're at the front, very like first position, there's quite a lot of pressure on. The route finding because you've never at any point you've only got arrows or marshals to look at, but there's never any other racers participants, which
Yeah,
I always find more difficult when you're on your own. So
I think
it's yeah,
so. I was just going to say, I think if sometimes what I try and do is recce the course in stages. So do part of a training run on one of the
right,
courses if I get there earlier, and that's what I did in Sweden actually.
okay, good idea.
Yeah, which helps.
Yeah, definitely.
Because looking at like a Google Maps satellite image, it can look very different, obviously, when you're actually on the trail.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it's also good if you can try, like, if it depends if you've got. But yeah, staying in second place until the end isn't a bad tactic in some
Yeah,
ways.
no,
But
that's true.
it could backfire, of course. I
Yeah,
remember I think it was UTO 2015, there was a really strong Finnish team, husband and wife from Finland, called, the team name was Say No to Drugs, I think. And they were winning mixed category, but winning overall in UTO, and they went the wrong way and added a lot of time, and in the end missed out. But yeah, it just made me think of just being right at the front on your own. Yeah, there you go. It happens.
mhm.
It
It
hasn't
happens
happened to me
exactly.
since because
Yeah.
um, that's probably more to do with speed than judgment or lack of speed. So yeah, so school uni. So where are you going to uni?
So I'm going to uni in Durham. Um,
Ah,
I finished my second year, going to my third year, but it's a 4 year integrated masters.
right.
So I've got two more still to go. So
Okay. In
halfway.
engineering.
Engineering, yeah.
Yeah. And integrated, it means you do some time out work
So it,
experience or
it doesn't. It just means you skip the bachelor's and just get a master's degree by the end of it.
okay, yeah.
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 So
Cool.
you don't have to do two final projects. You just do one for the
Nice.
masters. Yeah.
Less marking for the lecturers.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's
Good stuff.
for me. It's also less cost because you're an
Yeah,
undergraduate through the whole thing.
I like it. It's more efficient, just like your
Yeah,
swim
definitely.
running. What's have you got any sports clubs that you're involved with at uni?
Yes. So I'm part of the Durham running and swimming uni clubs.
Right, James, you need to get into their brains with swim run. Yeah, spread the word because
Definitely.
we
Totally agree.
definitely need more Brits. And you could
Create.
Yeah,
I was going to say, you
have a
should
swim
create
run
a
club.
swimrun
Yeah,
society.
yes,
Yeah,
swim run society.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Um, have you? Yeah, that was a team. So you've always raced solo so far, right?
Yeah, I have.
And would you like to try the teams?
I definitely would. I've got a few people that I could race with now this year, so that's quite exciting.
Cool.
Um, yeah, some of those people are even keen to give the OtillO 70-kilometer world champs course a go, so that'll be cool.
Brilliant.
But we'll
Yes.
see.
Yeah. Sick. Yeah. No, brilliant. And is that male or female or both
Both
potentially?
actually.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah,
Because there's it's good to have options. You know, a lot of the top guys mix it up. You know, women and men. Some of them, mixed category, single, male, female, and it's a cool aspect. I think of being able to kind of switch categories in that it's not normal in most races. I don't think. So yeah, play to your
yeah,
strengths.
definitely. Yeah.
And have you got? Have you got any more swim runs you're going to do this year, 2024?
No, so last week I just had a little off season and kind of just getting into training again this week.
For next year.
Yeah, so I think I'm still really unsure about what I'm going to do over summer, but this winter I'm just going to represent my university teams in some competitions, and I think try and do some some shorter races. So try and improve on my 5K personal best time, and yeah,
Cool. What's your
do some
PB
track
in
work.
5K? What's your PB?
At the moment, 15:37,
Oh, Jesus.
but I want to improve upon that a lot this winter.
Okay,
Yeah,
good. And how about swimming? What's your 100-meter pace? Now, I know it's
not
different
very good.
swim. Yeah, okay.
It's
Well,
quite embarrassing. I
okay.
did I was gonna say I did a race last year, like just a we a we do we compete against nearby universities in like conference
Hmm.
galas,
Hmm.
and I think I did a 107 or something. Not I'm my swimming's very poor
107 and 100 meters.
for 100-meter free,
Okay.
but I think I can PB on that, to be honest.
Okay, it's not bad. Not bad. And do you train in the pool? Do you train a lot with paddles and pole boy, or not so much?
So I mostly do um, club sessions with the swim squads either at university or back home. But I've been doing one session by myself or with just some training partners, um, which is a pull buoy and paddle specific swim set. So it'll be something like often we do 400s, so 8 400s endurance kind of pace,
Hmm. Brilliant.
or 10 400s. So quite a long swim set.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Cool. Well, it sounds like you're doing all the right stuff for swim run. And I'm just thinking early season because you're not sure what you're doing in the summer. So early, you might get an early season race in maybe.
Maybe.
See what happens.
My exams are around end of May, start of June,
Hmm.
and that seems to be when all the races kind of start back up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of fitting it in around that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
unless you go
see.
to Europe, I guess there's a few a couple in April, but yeah, you've got your exams are quite important too, of course.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah,
cool. Well, James, do your best to recruit more British swim runners,
definitely will do.
youngsters,
Yeah,
and it was great to meet you. And hopefully, yeah, look forward to seeing you somewhere swim running in the
yeah.
future.
No, that sounds good.
And
Thank you very much,
before you go,
Mike.
hang on, Jay, last thing I meant to say, Kit, what were you? Because you're a fell runner, from a fell running background. What shoes do you
Yeah,
generally wear for swim running? People always like to listen.
yeah. So Lake District, there's Innovates,
Yeah.
is the company everyone knows. So I have some Innovate mud claws
Mhm.
that I use, and they're great for swim run. I've also recently got another pair of shoes. I'm trying to remember the name. Um, they are Malmo trail shoes.
Oh yeah.
If you've heard of those,
Yeah.
by Oriox or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've heard of
So
them.
I got those recently, and they've also been great.
Okay, cool. That's thrown another pair into the mix. The Malmos Innovates were definitely kind of a leading, well, popular one in the UK. Just probably because the Lake District, North Wales, that's kind of Scotland. The swim run came around in those areas originally in 2015, 16. So yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, there's all sorts now, and it's not as it's not super important. It's what you're comfortable in, isn't it? And then looking at then the terrain and the grip and then
Yeah, definitely.
the fell running shoes or anything like that. Generally, they drain pretty quick, and people used to worry more about that, but it's not a biggie. So yeah, cool. And then wetsuit. What were you wearing? What did you have?
So I got a Synergy. If you've heard of that
Oh, we've
company,
heard of Synergy. Yeah.
yeah. I actually met in Sweden um, the person who makes it. His mate, who's he's quite close to, um, said he's like this. I'm like the second person he's seen wearing the wetsuit. So they're not very common, but it's a Canadian company.
Mhm.
I've found it a great wetsuit.
Good stuff. Well, James, I'll let you return to your packing for uni and
Thank you.
all that needs to happen. But, yeah, great. Thanks for coming on, and see you in 2025, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, thank you very much, Mike. Really enjoyed it.
Good man.
Bye for now.
A great chat with James there. Cool to hear a young person loving the sport, and wow, his times are pretty fast there, running and swimming. Got to admit. So hopefully he'll stay in the sport, won't get distracted too much by other things going on, and maybe we'll see him on the start line of the World Champs one day. That would be cool. A couple of offers from a couple of great companies. Ocean Lube to start with. I've mentioned before, I've used the anti-chafing cream. It's an ocean-friendly anti-chafing cream made in the UK. Small company, very small, great guys. And yeah, I've used it on the usual kind of neck spots and other possible rubbing spots with the neoprene. And it's worked great. In particular, though, I've used it on my feet for Uto and Gothenburg, which are significant swim runs. I haven't worn socks, so I've done that quite a few times over the years. It's not for everyone. 99% of people wear socks, so don't don't try it without trying it in training, because if you get a blister, it could negatively impact your performance during a race. But yeah, it works for me, and I've used the Ocean Lube in the last couple of World Series races, and my feet have been absolutely perfect at the end of the race. As much as they can be perfect. So yeah, it works. And the offer is at oceanlube.co.uk. Just use the code WeSwimRun, all capital letters, one word, and you'll get 10% off the fantastic product. What else? We have Swimrun Hydra happening in November. If you want warm weather, warm sea, great location on a Greek island for a swim run, check that out. If you want to receive 20% off entry, just drop me an email or a DM, and I can send you the info for that. It's a teams only race, worth noting, but it's a cool location and really friendly. I mean, it was awesome. I can't do it this year because I've got an event in Liverpool, but if I was free, I would get over there for sure. What else is happening? Well, a few swim runs coming up. Coniston on this Sunday. Again, I can't do that one either. I'm organising a significant race in Abu Dhabi. But yeah, Lake District Gritty Rascals are organising the swim run Coniston on Sunday, 22nd. And the Eliminator is taking place on the 28th of September, Saturday in Liverpool. Get involved, guys. Whether you're fast, slow, old, young, whatever. It's a lot of fun. And then the day after, Sunday, the Survivor down in Grafton-Water, I think it is this year. So quite a few races coming up in the UK. Get involved. It's going to be a long winter. So yeah, get involved and hopefully see you out there sometime soon.